I hope that's not too bright. Welcome to What's Niggling Me. Here with my brother on the phone.
Yeah.
And wanted to go over my favorite funny moments from one of the world's top comedians, Donald Trump. He fucking makes me laugh.
He's like a comedian.
Yeah, I took some screenshots of my favorite moments, and this one here probably comes within like 30 seconds, but gotta get context, you know? I don't know what the volume's gonna be on.
Companies are moving into the United States. Honda, we have tremendous, the car companies are moving in at levels we've never seen before. The biggest investment ever made in the United States is being made right now. Trillions of dollars. I would say we could be at $9 trillion. You could go back to other presidents. They haven't had $1 trillion for their entire term. Look at Biden. He had bad numbers. People are leaving. They weren't coming in. They were leaving with Biden, and he didn't know the difference. The only thing he knew is people coming in. You know who they were? Illegal immigrants. Okay, from prisons, from mental institutions.
This guy fucking makes me laugh.
That's funny.
It took like halfway into the interview for him to heat up and get loose, I noticed. Probably my favorite thing is how many times Mark Carney made this little hand gesture like he wanted to talk.
Yeah.
And then never did. He talked like for probably 2 minutes total out of 35 fucking minutes. But how many times he made that one hand gesture like he wanted to speak was so fucking funny.
He's thank God he stood up tone for us, eh?
Man, so funny. Only one thing I'll give is that Trump treated him respectfully. I think it's probably because he showed up in a suit, and Carney is a businessman.
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't show up in fucking fatigues like Zelensky, and then Trudeau, Zelensky, like Trump didn't respect those guys. They're pussies, and there's just they're puppets. So he doesn't respect them. But he was nice to Mark Carney. He was nice to him. He wasn't disrespectful to him, which I found interesting and pretty funny because you know how rude he can be to somebody if he doesn't like them.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's Zelensky one is funny.
I mean, he can be super rude and come up with one-liners to fucking embarrass you and make you look stupid. And he didn't do that to Mark Carney. And he, even when he shook his hand, didn't try to yank him. And I know that he likes to yank people when he shakes hands with them. But he didn't yank. And Mark Carney's way smaller than him. He's younger, but he's way smaller than him. So if he wanted to yank him, he probably could.
Yeah, it probably hurt him.
Okay, let me go to this next one here. 20 minutes in. Alright, what do we got here?
Very good source. Would you say Marco? I would say pretty good, right, JD? A very good source. They don't want to be bombed anymore, you know. I sort of thought that would happen. You know, they'll put it behind you. From what fact? No, it's fine. It's there. It's good. We use it for certain things. It's there. We have the USMCA is a good deal for everybody. I won't say this about Mark, but I didn't like his predecessor. I didn't like a person that worked for. She was terrible, actually. She was a terrible person. And she really hurt that deal very badly because she tried to take advantage of the deal and she didn't get away with it. You know what I'm talking about. But so, you know, we had a bad relationship having to do with the fact that we disagreed with the way they viewed the deal, and we ended it. We ended that relationship pretty much. The USMC is great.
Man, so funny watching Mark Carney's face. He's like biting the inside of his mouth because he's like, man, that's the mother of my god kids. Like, he's like, fuck, man, like, my god kids, you're ripping their mom. I know who you're talking about.
I can't wait till she sees it.
I know. Man, it's so funny. Because I don't think this is about Mark. Like, he's... It was so funny to be nice to him and then rip his good friend.
She's a stupid bitch anyways.
Yeah, she fucking sucks. I can't stand her. And not... Oh, fuck off. I'm trying to get to my next screenshot here. It's not long after. It's fucking 2 minutes later. This guy's making me laugh again.
With Canada, from our standpoint, they do a lot of business with us. We're at like 4%, and usually those things don't last very long. We have great things, great product, the kind of product we sell, nobody else can sell, including military. Look, we make the best military equipment in the world, and Canada buys our military equipment, which we appreciate, but we make the best military equipment in the world by far. The missiles, the submarines, everything we have is really top notch. I rebuilt our military during our last term. Stupidly, we gave some away to Afghanistan, which shouldn't have happened. But that was, I think it was the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country. It was just very incompetent people. But if you look, the man that's now the head of our Joint Chiefs, he led the attack on ISIS for me.
Man, so funny talking shit about Joe Biden. Like, just has to talk shit about Joe Biden. I love it. Fuck it. It's so funny. Calling him incompetent. It is embarrassing. Leaving $80 billion worth of military equipment in a country with goat farmers. So they have no clue how to use a lot of this shit. So then they sell it.
That just goes to the militias and they fucking...
Mm-hmm. And this guy was on fire. Trump? Because I got a screenshot a minute later of this guy making me laugh.
Massive amounts of cash. The CHIPS Act was a ridiculous thing because that doesn't get them to build. All we did is hand very wealthy companies money. The CHIPS Act that was done by Biden. Billions, we give them billions of dollars. They don't even have to do anything with it. And then if you weren't, if you didn't have, and I don't want to be a wise guy, but if you didn't go with the DEI, if you didn't go with all of the different things, woke, if you weren't woke, you couldn't even use the money. You had to have a certain percentage of this and that and that and that. It's impossible to have. The people, the companies actually complained to me. They said they gave me all this money, but nobody can get these people to do anything. I mean, look, President Obama, and if he wanted help, I'd give him help because I'm a really good builder. I build on time, on budget. He's building his library in Chicago. It's a disaster. And he said something to the effect, I only want DEI, I only want woke. He wants woke people to build it. Well, he got woke people, and they have massive cost overruns. The job is stopped. I don't know. It's a disaster. And I don't like that happening because I think it's bad for the presidency that a thing like that should happen. He's got a library that's a disaster. And he wanted to be very politically correct, and he didn't use good, hard, tough, mean construction workers that I love, Marco. I love those construction workers. But he didn't want construction workers. He wanted people that, never did it before. And he's got a disaster in his hands. Millions of dollars, many millions of dollars over budget. and I would love to help him with it, or somebody else. I could recommend professionals, but it was not built in a professional manner. By the way, nor was in California a little train going from San Francisco to Los Angeles that's being run by Gavin Newsom, the governor of California. Did you ever hear of Gavin Newsom? He has got, that train is the worst cost overrun I've ever seen. It's like totally out of control. So then they said, all right, we won't go into San Francisco. We'll stop 25 miles short. And we won't go into Los Angeles. We'll stop 25 miles short. It's hundreds of billions of dollars for this stupid project that should have never been built. And then they realized that it would have been a lot less costly if we just gave limousine service back and forth and gave it free. That would have saved hundreds of billions of dollars. They have airplanes that go there for one-hundredth the cost. And they have cars. They have a thing called the highway that goes back and forth that's not fully utilized. And they got involved with this project. And Gavin, you know, I always liked Gavin. I had a good relationship with him. I just got him a lot of water. You know, I sent in people to open up that water because he refused to do it. And we just got him a lot of water. If they would have had that water, and if they would have done what I said to do, they wouldn't have had the fires in Los Angeles. Those fires would have been put out very quickly. But if you think about it, and you got to take a look at this, it's the worst cost overrun I've ever seen. I've watched a lot of stupid people build a lot of stupid things. But that's the worst cost overrun I've ever seen. What's happening between San Francisco and Los Angeles. And you want to ask about that because this government is not going to pay. I told our very great new Secretary of Transportation, he's doing a good job, Sean Duffy, I said, we're not going to pay for that thing. They are just, it's out of control. This is something that you don't have things like this. It's not even conceivable. Like 30 times over budget, 30 times. It's the craziest thing. And now it's hundreds of, it was supposed to be a simple train. And I think the media should take a look at it. And I'd love him to run for president on the other side. You know, I'd love to see that. But I don't think he's going to be running because that one project alone, well, that and the fires and a lot of other things, pretty much put him out of the race.
Yeah. Guy just torches Gavin Newsom. He is so fucking funny. He wasn't even having a meeting with Mark Carney here. He was just having a daily press briefing. Can you hear me? Right?
What?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you?
Thought so. I got one more, I think, here.
To retail price are not tariffed to help domestic manufacturing really thrive.
So it gave them a chance to be able to build their car parts factories if they're going to. A lot of these companies already have factories, and what they have to do is just fill them out. But they're able to build them in the United States, so we gave them a pretty substantial period of time. Tariffing cars.
Tariffing Canada. Is there anything he can say to you in the course of your meeting with him today that can get you to lift tariffs on Canada?
No. That's the way it is.
What's the first day?
Yeah.
If Canadians don't want it, would you respect that?
Sure, I would. But this is not necessarily a one-day deal. This is over a period of time. They have to make that decision. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, if I may. Respectfully, Canadians' view on this is not going to change on the 51st state. Secondly, we are the largest client of the United States in the totality of all the goods. So we are the largest client of the United States. We have a tremendous auto sector between the two of us, and the changes that made have been helpful. 50% of a car that comes from Canada is American. That's not like anywhere else in the world. And to your question about is there one thing? No, this is a bigger discussion. There are much bigger forces involved. And this will take some time and some discussions, and that's why we're here, to have those discussions, and that is represented by who's sitting around the table.
See, the conflict is, and this is very friendly. We're not. This is not going to be like we had another little blow up with somebody else. It was a much different. This is a very friendly conversation, but we want to make our own cars. We don't really want cars from Canada, and we put tariffs on cars from Canada. And at a certain point, it won't make economic sense for Canada to build those cars. And we don't want steel from Canada because we're making our own steel, and we're having massive steel plants being built right now as we speak. We really don't want Canadian steel, and we don't want Canadian aluminum and various other things because we want to be able to do it ourselves. And we, because of past thinking of people, we have a tremendous deficit with Canada. In other words, they have a surplus with us, and there's no reason for us to be subsidizing Canada. Canada's a place that will have to be able to take care of itself economically. I assume they can. I will tell you that Trudeau, when I spoke to him, I used to call him Governor Trudeau. I think that probably didn't help his election. But when I spoke to him, I said, so why are we taking your cars? Why are we taking we want to make them ourselves. I mean, I said, and if the price of your cars went up, or if we put a tariff on your cars of 25%, what would that mean to you? He said, that would mean the end of Canada. He actually said that to me. And I said, that's a strange answer, but I understand his answer. But no, I mean, it's hard to justify subsidizing Canada to the tune of maybe $200 billion a year. We protect Canada militarily, and we always will. We're not going to, that's not a money thing. But we always will. But, it's not fair. But why are we subsidizing Canada $200 billion a year, or whatever the number might be? It's a very substantial number. And it's hard for the American taxpayer to say, gee whiz, we love doing that. Thank you very much. We're going to have a very substantial...
Mark Carney hated that.
Only said like two things.
He watching his hand go up over and over trying was so bad. And then this guy goes and gives a fucking little press conference afterwards. And I only got 2 timestamps from that because it wasn't very impressive.
I can see that.
There's 2 parts here. It's the first question.
I was watching your face through the meeting in the Oval Office, and I wondered what was going through your mind when the president talked about erasing the artificial border, and how he criticized your predecessor and Madam Freeland.
Thank you for your question. I'm glad that you couldn't tell what was going through my mind as that was going through. With respect to the first point, the president has made known his wish about that issue for some time. I've been careful always to distinguish between wish and reality. I was clear there in the Oval Office, as I've been clear throughout on behalf of Canadians, that this is never going to happen. Canada is not for sale. It never will be for sale. Some things, as I said in the room, some things are never for sale. And he agreed with that. So I distinguish between the two. And then with respect to the importance of reestablishing a constructive relationship for negotiations of a partnership, of an economic and security partnership, which is what we were here for. I look forward, not back, and I think we established a good basis today.
What?
Didn't respond to the Chrystia Freeland thing. Didn't respond. He only addressed the beginning of that question and didn't respond to that. And I think it's fucking hilarious. 17 minutes in here.
Beaucoup en ce qui concerne la sécurité de notre frontière.
Et
mon gouvernement va réinvestir de plus, 20% de plus, par exemple, par rapport les agents de la frontière. Alors, le cas pour enlever ou supprimer
French. I don't want to fucking listen to
les tarifs de fentanyl est très fort. est très fort maintenant.
Thank you. We'll have time for one last question and follow-up. Dernière question, question de suivi.
Hi, Prime Minister. Stephanie Taylor with the National Post. I heard you say, there's a difference between the president's comments around Canada becoming a 51st state as a wish versus a reality. You told him that Canada was not for sale. But many Canadians are offended and deeply angered by the fact that he keeps repeating this comment. So have you asked the president to stop calling Canada the 51st state?
Yes. Today.
Okay, specifically, what did you ask him?
Exactly what you just said.
But what words did you use? How did you ask him?
Look, I gave you an answer. Do you have a follow-up?
I'll say. What was his answer?
Well, look, I don't know. He's the president. He's his own person. I would go back to showing the difference between a wish and a reality. We're very clear. I've been very clear publicly, consistently. I've been very clear in private. Was clear again in the Oval Office. Would be clear throughout. The president, he understands that we're having a negotiation between sovereign nations, and that we will only pursue and accept a deal that's in the best interest of Canada, not just in the short term, but in the medium and long term for Canada.
Brutal answer. Mark Carney, waste of space. Ryan, are you waiting?
Yeah.
Listen to this. Ooh, need the volume. What's that?
To stay alive.
But what is the
dying in
motive?
this case.
What is the motive of the person who, in your view, falsified this photograph?
Oh, well, they was taking down the royal family, weren't they?
Well, who were?
Maybe Israel. Who knows?
Israel? Goodness me, come on. What do you mean, who knows? I mean, you're putting forward all these photographs. You've got no...
This is real.
No, it's not. This is all false.
Okay, all right.
This
Well, maybe go back to bed.
Why would Israel be taking down the British royal family?
Tell me that.
Well, you tell us. You're not
This is a fact.
Hey, that woman did not want to go any further into that. This woman's brutally annoying, but she didn't want to go into that. Then I highly suggest everybody watches this video. People are going to be talking about this one.
Projection. He was in the Navy. He was 250 days at sea. He never thought of it. I was really pissed because he lied. Epstein. And then I did a big thing in the Daily Mail saying that I believed in him. And then I found out he was lying. I was so pissed. Joe was pandering girls. That's not cool.
John Bryan has been a close confidant to the British royal family for a long time. He worked for Queen Elizabeth II, was, quote, best friends with Princess Diana, and had a long-term intimate relationship with the Duchess of York, Sarah Ferguson. According to Bryan, he practically raised Sarah Ferguson's children, the princesses Beatrice and Eugenie. And Bryan said that he maintained a friendship with Ferguson's husband, the Duke of York, Prince Andrew.
Tell me like your story. So my story. You want to know my story? Like I've been so famous at Thomas when I was on the front page of every newspaper, because I was working with the Queen of England.
Okay.
You know, she's a listen. I was working along families, Princess Diana, my best friend, and I met the Duchess of York.
Okay.
That's Prince Andrew's wife. They were separated. And Sarah and I sort of fell in love with her. And we lived together for like 7 years. In my house in England. such little children. They're so cute. They're just using and using them. Those are my children.
That guy loves those girls.
I raised those kids. Day to day, I was father of the
Prince
That guy's
Andrew's
proud of
connection
it.
to Jeffrey Epstein emerged in 2010 when photos showed them walking together in New York's Central Park. Epstein had already been convicted in 2008 of procuring a 14-year-old girl for prostitution. In 2014, a woman named Virginia Giuffre alleged in a Florida court filing that Jeffrey Epstein paid her to have sex with Prince Andrew when she was 17, a minor. On April 25th, a few weeks ago, Giuffre died by, quote, suicide. Prince Andrew denied Giuffre's sex abuse allegations in a now infamous 2019 BBC interview.
She said she had sex with you 3 times.
This guy doesn't
on
sweat.
this private island in a group of 7 or 8 other girls.
No.
No to all of
All
it.
of it. Absolutely no to all of it.
The interview was a public relations disaster for the royal family and prompted the Queen to strip Prince Andrew of his royal duties. In the aftermath of that interview, the prince sought advice from a longtime royal family confidant, John Bryan.
Oh, very good. Oh, no, we're in civilized. We go to dinner at his house. We'd have dinner at my house and see his kids. So then, we go on holiday in the south of France. And I get a big property, like 10 acres, right near Central Bay, right? You know, nobody has 10 acres. I'm on the biggest property, beautiful house.
This guy's gonna disappear probably.
There's a paparazzi everywhere. There's hundreds. Not 10, not 20. Hundreds. I know.
And this is already on Prince Andrew.
Yes, Prince Andrew. Yeah, he's out in the, he's on the.
Look what Pussy does. Pussy ruined this guy's life. This
2
guy
weeks
just
after
ruined
Prince
his life
Andrew's
because of
BBC
Pussy.
interview,
It's
John
so
Bryan
powerful.
was brought to the Royal Lodge where Prince Andrew lives to offer crisis management advice. According to the Telegraph, the meeting was conducted discreetly. At the royal residence, Bryan observed that Prince Andrew was visibly distressed and struggling to focus, reportedly unable to concentrate for more than 40 minutes at a time due to the strain he was under. As reported in the Daily Mail, John Bryan constructed a 5-page document emphasizing that Prince Andrew should publicly show empathy for Epstein's victims. Back in November 2022, Bryan publicly stated that he believed Prince Andrew was innocent of the claims made against him related to the Jeffrey Epstein sex trafficking scheme. Now, in our exclusive hidden camera undercover footage, John Bryan reveals for the first time that Prince Andrew did in fact have sex with underage girls.
Other girls. I was so pissed about that. I was really pissed because he lied to me about Epstein. Yeah. No, I knew he saw him, but he lied to me that he was such a close friend. I was so pissed. And then I did a big thing in the Daily Mail saying that I believed in him. And then I found out he was lying. I was so pissed.
Now, our newsroom has some concerns
Props
about
to that
where
guy.
this
That's not
investigation
cool.
is headed and who may be implicated. But our only
He's gonna
motivation
disappear.
in doing these stories is the public's right to know. And if this report and our
Hopefully James O'Keefe doesn't disappear. And hopefully that John Bryan guy doesn't disappear. I notice a lot of people don't know a lot of things about Columbine. So in the coming episodes, I'm going to do an episode on Columbine because it was pretty insane. You know about Columbine, right?
Yeah.
I saw a thread that had a lot of people in it that seemed like they just didn't know a lot about it. There's a lot of footage. There's a lot of footage of those guys. Those guys took a lot of footage of themselves. Long before and like leading up to that. Those guys took a lot of footage of doing shit. And they even built like it's possible to get if you want it, probably. There's this game Doom, I don't know if you ever heard of it. I think it's Doom that they were doing it on, not Diablo. I think they were doing it on Doom. You could create your own levels. You know how kind of like Fortnite before you could create your own levels? Right? Are you awake? No, he's sleeping. I'll do a video on it in the next week. Deuces.